Yo.
Yo, yo.
All right, cool. We good. All right, we got like 28 minutes left. All right, so yeah, let's start with our predictions for the NBA playoffs. Yeah. So basically, I'll start off first. I had the Celtics winning like 4-2, but now I think it's going to go 7 games. I don't know if you agree with that part now.
Well, yeah, I mean, originally, I'm not going to lie, I had the Celtics in 5, but but now I think they're going to win in 6 because, in other words, I don't think the Bulls are going to win another game. No Rondo, no win for them.
Yeah, I agree now. Yeah, at first I was like, I had the Celtics win, and then the Bulls surprised me, and I consider them the most surprising team to me so far in the playoffs, just because I really didn't expect them to even do at least good enough to get it to where it's 6-7 games or close to 7 games, which I think is going to happen. They had just been so inconsistent during the season that I was just like, okay, once they get to the playoffs, that's it. The Celtics will beat them. But then, unfortunately, Isaiah Thomas' sister passed, so that don't help either. And then Rondo, he starts playing the way that you have been talking about for years, how he should have been playing, and now he gets injured.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think he had that coming just to show him, the universe telling him, you can't just turn it on when you want. You're not that good. He's not the same guy he was back in Boston. So, yeah, I mean, and honestly, I didn't even think that the fucking, that the Bulls should have even made the playoffs. I thought it should have just been the Heat in that 8th spot. But, of course, things transpired and that wasn't the case. But, yeah, Boston's going to finish this thing off just like they were expected to.
Yeah, damn. And then the Rockets, they won today. I originally had them winning 4-2. Now I think it's going to be in 5 games. What do you think?
Yeah, same exact thing. I mean, I originally had them winning 4-2. Now I think they're just going to finish the deal next game. OKC, I don't know what it is that they're missing, but they're just not on the same level as Houston. I mean, we saw them with Durant. They still couldn't get the job done. Now without Durant, they still can't do it. So I don't know, man. I think Russ is just trying to do too much. Maybe he needs more help. Maybe the other guys need to step up. Whatever the case may be, they're just no match for Houston. Houston's proving that.
Well, I think it's both. I think Russell does need help, but at the same time, he does need to make better decisions shooting-wise. He's always been inefficient, but it gets shown more, exposed more in the playoffs. And I think he has done somewhat of a better job trusting his teammates, but not completely, not enough to where I would think they would end up winning this series somehow. But I do think this series also shows how sloppy Houston is, and I do expect them to lose to the Spurs. We'll talk about that, I guess, another day. But speaking of the Spurs, I have them winning 4-2. It looks like it still might happen. I don't know what you think. I don't know if you saw the game last night. Kawhi was amazing, but here goes LaMarcus Aldridge being inconsistent.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And I know you've said this often. I mean, you've been critical of LaMarcus for quite some time now, and for good reason, because he's not playing like the guy he used to be. And I don't know what it is. He's not old. That shouldn't be an excuse. I think he's just playing soft. Maybe he doesn't want to be a second fiddle, because obviously Kawhi's the guy. But look at him in Portland. It was him and Damian. They were both first options. Maybe he just can't take a back seat. I don't know what it is, really. But he's been soft, and it's costing the team now. Because, listen, man, I had the Spurs winning in 5 games. And now that the series is tied, I'm quite shocked, because this is the Spurs we're talking about. So I still think they're going to finish it off. I think they're going to do it in 6, meaning I don't think that Memphis is going to win another game, but I'm still surprised they took it this far, to be honest.
I won't be surprised if it goes 7 games, just because right now it's looking like they can't win away against the Grizzlies. But I feel that the Spurs backup players will step up at home as they did the first 2 games. So that's what I expect to happen in Game 5. We'll see what happens in Game 6. But LaMarcus, I have issues with LaMarcus because, with this team that they have assembled, I really think they can win a championship this year. But I know it's not going to happen because of him. He's the reason why they lost to the Thunder last year, regardless of what people want to say about Kawhi not, finishing as strong down the stretch last playoff. LaMarcus, if he had played the way he did the first 2 games, they would have won the series. And we don't know what would happen with the Spurs and Warriors. I still would have picked the Warriors, but it's like part of me doesn't even want to see them win somewhat, just because I know they're going to end up losing to the Warriors. And it's like, what's the point of seeing them go against the Warriors if they're not going to be 100% because of the way that LaMarcus is playing?
Yeah, exactly. But, if anybody can get him right, I think it's Pop. Now, I don't know what it's going to take for him to do that he hasn't been able to do yet, but maybe LaMarcus will just wake up and realize he needs to be a bigger player. He needs to do more. He needs to contribute more. And I think we need to also look at a couple guys here, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. I think it was 2 games ago, neither of them scored, and I think that was the first time that that's ever happened. So, what do you expect to see out of those 2 guys? Can you expect anything at all out of them?
Tony played well last night, so I think he'll play halfway like that in the next game. Ginobili to me is done. Like I won't say he's really the same as Paul Pierce, but he's pretty much like near it, so to speak. Like maybe he's on his way.
Yeah.
Like this needs to be his last season. He was a great player in his prime, and he's a memorable player, but he's got to go too. You already know how I feel about dudes who be staying too long. Like this. You got to go.
Yeah, no question. I kind of okay, but Danny Green. What about Danny?
Danny Green has to step up. He hasn't done what he's supposed to do, and the other dude, Patty Mills, he's got to step up as well. Those 2 are the ones that I'm relying on more so. They've got to get some scoring in. Yeah,
that's a great point. I think Patty Mills is a great spark plug. Like he's definitely like an energy guy for them. So I think they're gonna have to rely on that. He's gonna have to bring it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the Jazz, they just beat the Clippers. I had them winning 4-2, I think. It looks like it still might happen. It might be a Game 7. But either way, it's really no point in the Clippers winning at this point. Like, they're not going to beat the Warriors. They would get swept even with Blake Griffin there. I think they need to get dismantled. I don't know what you think about them being possibly dismantled,
Yeah, as far as dismantling goes, I think they're 2 years behind. Like, I think they should have at least done it last year, maybe the year before. But, look, this team isn't going anywhere, and it's not because of Doc Rivers. You know how I feel about Doc. He's a great coach, but I just think that sometimes a team just can't win as it's constructed, and that's the case with them. They've been together, 6-7 years now, the core has. So, it's time to break it up. Now, obviously, this might be a video for another day, but, we could talk about places where, Chris Paul should go. But I think he's leaving. I think you got to get rid of Blake and just start over if you're that franchise.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to see what happens. I definitely think Blake Griffin should leave and go back home, go help Russell. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm glad they got Rudy Gobert back. Speaking of the Jazz, I know Gordon Hayward was sick, so hopefully he'll be healthy and ready to go. But we'll see what happens with that. The Wizards and the Hawks, I had the Wizards winning in 5 games, so I don't know what's about to happen now.
Yeah, initially, I'm not going to lie, I had the Wizards sweeping, but obviously that's not going to happen now. But, they're gonna take care of business. I don't really expect Atlanta to win another game. You know, and again, it all comes down to, you know, Washington's backcourt. You know, Wall and Beal. I mean, those two guys, I really don't know how you stop them, especially a team like Atlanta, who is good, but really they're not a great team, not like they were a few years ago when they had that incredible regular season record. That's not the same team we're talking about here. So, yeah, Washington in 5 now, even though I initially thought 4.
Okay. I had the Raptors winning, I think, in 6 games. It's looking that way, that it's going to happen. But usually in the first round, they always end up going 7 games, so that'll most likely be the case. Who do you have winning the series at this point?
Man, and I'm not going to lie. I think out of all of the series, this is the toughest one to analyze. I mean, it might also be the most interesting. But, man, you know, from this point forward, I'm going to say Milwaukee in 7. You know, at first I thought Toronto in 6, but now I just don't think that I can stick to that, not after what I've seen so far in this series. I think that Milwaukee is going to find a way, and obviously it's mostly because of Giannis. I mean, he's their go-to guy. I mean, he's a fucking freak.
I wish Jabari Parker was healthy so we can really see how they would do.
Yeah, exactly. And I forget who it was. I think Jalen Rose said it, but he thinks that this team is still a year away from going really deep in the playoffs. But, I mean, he's right in the sense that this team is still getting better. And, like, once they get Jabari healthy and depending on what they do in the offseason, I mean, they're only going in the right direction. So, I mean, this is a team we're going to be talking about for some years to come now, definitely.
Yeah, as far as this series goes, I would like to see the Bucks win just because I'm a Jason Kidd guy, and I do want him to thrive as a head coach.
Shout out to Jay Kidd, man. He's done a great job.
Yeah, and then as far as the Raptors go, DeMar, he had that one terrible game. He redeemed himself yesterday. But Kyle Lowry, someone needs to send a back signal, a milk carton that says he's missing something. I don't get it. I don't get why he plays trash in the playoffs. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. I don't get it. Do you have any reason for this?
Yeah, honestly, I don't get it either. I think maybe the stage is too big for him. I mean, I don't know what else it could be. I mean, this is an all-star we're talking about, yet it's the same story in the playoffs with him. I mean, and there's been other all-star and superstar players in sports who have this reputation. You know, Clayton Kershaw, you know, except last year. I think even though the Dodgers didn't win it all, he played very well last year in the playoffs. But, I mean, the point is that there's certain guys who just can't play up to their level in the playoffs. And Kyle Lowry, he's pretty much looking like he's one of those guys. You know, so, I mean, he's got to get it together if they have any shot.
Yeah, I agree. They're another team. They're not going to go far either way. So, but, yeah, Kyle Lowry, I mean, at least with Kershaw, like, you know, he's won awards and all that. But it's like this dude, it's not like he's on the level of a Peyton Manning or Kershaw, nothing like that. Like, he's just an all-star point guard in the East. He's not even the best point guard in the East. My opinion, that goes to John Wall. But that's my opinion. But
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's like, man, dude, you get paid all this money. It's like, dude, you need to live up to your contract. Like, look at Mike Conley. Like, Mike Conley is arguably the most underrated point guard in the West. And, yeah, he did get that $30 million, which sounds crazy, but he's doing everything he can to look like he deserves that contract.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Conley's earning his money. I mean, well, we could argue, I mean, that kind of money, you should be putting up 50 a game. But, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job of really just improving. And, I mean, look, they're like we talked about, 2-2 with the Spurs. So if he continues playing well like he should, that could be an interesting series too. So I agree. Lowry's got to get it together. He's lucky DeRozan is taking over most of the load.
Yeah. I agree. Dang. I don't know if you saw the Warriors game yesterday. It was funny because I kept telling people, I'm like, man, the Warriors, they're going to win this game. Like, it doesn't matter how much Portland was up by. I knew they was going to come back and win that game. Like, and it's really sad because Lillard and McCollum are doing everything they can, but there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
I know. With KD, without KD, it doesn't seem to really matter. Again, a team like the Warriors, I think we just have to see what happens as their opponents get stronger as the rounds go on. Hopefully, I am one of those people who is not rooting for the Warriors, so I would love to see somebody knock them off, whether it's someone in the East or if it's someone in the finals, a.k.a. the Cavs. I just don't want to see the Warriors win. I'm sorry. So let's see if someone can give them a good run for their money. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I knew they was going to sweep them. I just knew it. I knew there's nothing they can do. It's really unfortunate because Lillard does so much, and there's nothing he can do. Like I don't even know if he can stay on the team when that times come. But that's another discussion for another time. But what is your take on Steve Kerr not being able to coach for most likely the rest of this series?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I know that there are some people who don't think it's a big deal simply because, Mike Brown is well established in and of himself. And of course they have that system in place. But, I think that they're going to feel not having Kerr just a little bit in this series. Now, if we're talking no Kerr for the rest of the playoffs, then I think that makes a much more of an impact. And I think in that case, the Warriors are no longer the favorites to win the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I feel like the first two rounds, it won't bother them. I feel like they'll still cruise, like they're going to cruise this first round. I feel like the same thing's going to happen in the second round. But, yeah, the third round against the Spurs, that's where it might hinder them, and it would definitely hinder them in the finals. Do you think they really need Durant to win the finals?
I don't. I think that having KD isn't going to hurt them in any way, shape, or form, but I really don't think that they need him to win it all. Yes, they're not the same team from last year. In other words, their bench isn't as strong, but they still have the core guys, they still have Iguodala, they still have Sean Livingston, and look, they still have depth, but more importantly than that is their big three without Durant. Their big three from last year, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. So I think that, even without KD, yes, that team is definitely able to win it all. With that said, I hope they don't, but of course they could.
Yeah, I just wouldn't be surprised. Do they technically need Durant? No. Will he be useful come the finals if he can make it to the finals and be healthy in the finals? Obviously, yeah. But it's just like, man, it's just so crazy because when LeBron joined Miami, they needed him to get to the finals. This is a completely different situation. They really did not need Durant. I know they're looking future-wise, for the next couple of years. Technically, you don't need him for the next couple of years. Unless something bad happens, someone gets hurt really bad, like Clay or something like that, you really don't need him. It almost made the season pointless, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of the reason why, for this year, I just couldn't get into the regular season like I've been known to my whole life. We're talking about a lifetime basketball fan here who felt almost alienated this season. Now, I know there's others who are saying, what are you talking about? This was a great year, of course, with the co-MVP talk and, just the way those guys played, Harden and Westbrook and Isaiah Thomas's emergence. And there was a lot of interesting things that happened this year. I just didn't follow it as closely as normal because of the whole KD move and how it just felt like, okay, well, we already know what the finals is going to hold for us this year. And again, let's see if that happens, but that's just what it felt like for me at the time, Yeah,
man, it's just crazy because, when he first got signed, I was just like, okay, cool. I'm not going to criticize him because I didn't criticize LeBron for doing what he did. But at the same time, at least, I'll say everybody say, at least LeBron went to, a team that wasn't the Celtics. This dude really went to a team that he should have beat last year. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just really crazy.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, we've never seen anything like this, not even with LeBron. This was like 10 times worse than what LeBron did, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. The Cavs sweep, got their sweep today, which I thought was going to happen. I don't know if you had them winning 4-0 or 4-1, but they got the job done.
Yeah, I had Cleveland sweeping. I think that I think they're fine. They have a flair for the dramatic. Of course, earlier in the series with Kyrie and Kevin, sitting out the fourth or whatever, people are going to make a big deal about that. But I think that's a team that's ready to go back to the finals. I don't think they're worried about anybody.
Okay, so given all the stuff that happened in the second half of the regular season, do you think they're ready to make the run and repeat as champs?
I do. I really do, man. I think that, they pretty much every LeBron team always gets better this time of year. But, of course, there's always adversity. There's always controversy. But they always seem to come out on top. And, I don't think this year's any exception. I feel like they want to play it up like there's trouble, there's chaos, but there's really not. Those guys are fine. They're ready to go. Kyrie will be himself. Kevin Love will be good, whatever that even means for him anymore. He's not the 30 and 15 guy from Minnesota anymore, but he's still a guy that they need to play well to win it all. And I expect him to. Whatever he has to do, whatever role that he has to play for them to be successful, Kevin Love could do that.
Yeah, I do hope they win. I don't know if I will pick them to win it. We'll see when that time comes. But I do hope they do win it and they repeat. It'd be pretty nice. And, this has been Kevin Love's best season, regardless of this injury that happened. He's been playing the way that we thought that he should have been playing the last couple of years, which wasn't completely his fault, but some of his fault.
Yeah, it's good to see him, kind of get back on track, so to speak. But, and the rest of the team, too. I mean, you got to realize this team is really deep now. Getting Darren Williams was big, Kyle Korver. I mean, these are just guys that have tons of playoff experience, and I think it'll come in handy down the stretch.
Yeah, so I hope they stay healthy the entire, playoffs, make to the finals. I want them to stay healthy, so regardless, there will be no excuses made whether they win or lose. But I do hope they win. But, speaking of the Pacers, obviously you've seen Paul George, the way he's been reacting during this series. Do you think that he's immature in general, or do you think he's doing this to get himself out of Indiana quicker?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think that he wants out of Indiana, and for good reason. I mean, when the next guy that's helping you is Lance Stevenson, there's something wrong. So, I mean, I just thought that Teague and Ellis could have played better, and I don't know, man. Indiana's just not going anywhere.
In my opinion, as far as the East is concerned, they're the biggest disappointment to me in the East this whole entire year. I thought they would be much better. I thought they would be a top 4 team, regardless of anyone thinks that's crazy or not. I did. I thought they would be a top 4 team or, get to 5, something around that range. They've been completely inconsistent. And, I just think that Paul George wants out. I think he wants out, and I think he wants out as fast as possible, as quick as possible. Maybe he might get shipped off this year, this off season. So with 4 minutes left to go, let's quickly talk about his off season. Do you think he will get traded? If so, where? Do you think the Lakers should trade any of their pieces for him, or the Celtics? Do you think the Clippers should try to find a way to switch Blake Griffin for him?
Wow. Well, I definitely think that the Lakers are interested, and I think the Lakers should move some of their pieces to get a guy like Paul George, a proven superstar in this league, because a lot of the young guys in the Lakers, we don't know what they're going to be yet. They're still in the developmental stages. They're still just potential guys. I would move someone like Julius Randle, somebody like maybe D'Angelo Russell or Jordan Clarkson, I wouldn't move. With that said, I would only move one or two of those guys depending on who it is. But I would not trade like three guys just to get Paul George. The Clippers, I think the Clippers should try to make a move for him too because, I think Isaiah Thomas could use a little more help. And as far as the Clippers go, I would take a hard pass on that just because I think they need to just do a traditional rebuild, just start young, like really young, like draft pick young, and just do it that way, man.
I think the Celtics have been very stupid the last couple of years. I agree with Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright, what they're talking about as far as the Celtics. You have all these picks. They're not turning into superstars. If you have the chance, which I don't want them to do, go trade wherever picks you got to get Paul George. I hope he comes to the Lakers. If I had it my way, I probably would wait until next season just because I don't want to do what the Knicks had to do to get Carmelo Anthony, which is somewhat of a different situation, but I don't want to trade away all these pieces just again. But if I had to, I would get rid of Jordan Clarkson. I would try to find a way to finesse my way to give up Larry Nance instead of Julius Randle. And if they want Nick Young as well, I would do that as well.
Yeah, anything to get rid of Nick Young. That's what the Lakers' mindset should be, but maybe I'm just hating. But come on, I think that his time in L.A. should be up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the record, do you think he will be gone from the Pacers this offseason?
Ultimately, yes, I do. I think that, he's made his will and his intentions clear this offseason that he wants out. And if you're Larry Bird or that organization, I think you got to try to make that happen. You got to have guys who want to be there to win. So if he doesn't, you got to move him.
Yeah, I think Larry Bird, being the smart guy that he is, I think he's got to find a way to trade him this offseason, or he's about to look really stupid come the season after. So yeah, man. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this weekend. Next show we'll probably talk about what you want to talk about. You want to get your feelings off on Tony Romo?
Yeah, man. It's been a while. I've kind of remained silent on the subject, but I think we gonna have to speak on that one time. So it's due. I got a lot to say, man. I'm about to go off.
I know. And then on top of that, we got the NFL draft this upcoming Thursday through Saturday. So we'll definitely be podcasting throughout the week. We only got a couple of seconds left. So, man, thanks for listening, and we'll be back.
Yes, we will. Peace out.
Peace.